Good morning and welcome back to the Brick by Brick podcast with Ronald Pauleus, where we look at principles woven throughout our universe anyone can take advantage of so they can stop living an average life. I got my guest, Cooper Galvin, back. He's an owners club. He's doing high level things in Orlando, Florida. And it's a special place to me because I was born and raised in Miami. And I've been to Disney World and I've been to Busch Gardens and all that. Well, Busch Gardens in Tampa, but I've been around Orlando. It's a nice place. SeaWorld's pretty awesome. But
Mhm.
what we're gonna do this episode is I wanna jump right into Cooper's zone of genius. It's a phrase Cody Sanchez would have used and several others. Your superpower. Cooper, dive into that. What do you do best? And what I mean by that is there are things we do that we don't like. Personally, I don't like doing stuff with QuickBooks and putting receipts in and recording this and recording that. Other people love it. What's the things that you're like, man, when I'm here, it doesn't feel like work. I'm in flow, some people call it. What does that look like for you?
Man, I'm honestly so new into my real estate journey that I'll get in a flow in a bunch of different things, and I don't know what I'm most efficient at yet. I'm going to be super honest with you.
Yeah, I
I,
like
I,
it.
I got to be real honest. But um, I would say my superpower is that I don't have one thing I'm niched down in. You know
Mm.
what I mean? I love the quote. Now, we just got off the last podcast. I said like 25 quotes right there at the end, right? I've been told that I'm no original thoughts. I'm only quotes and references, which can be helpful sometimes. But one of my favorite quotes is a jack of all trades is a master of none. And most people only know that part, right? But there's an ending to that. And I learned this during college when my mindset shifted and I started
Mm.
looking at financial freedom instead of just like a W 2. A jack of all trades is a master of none, but still always better than a master of one. So, my
Mm.
goal, while I still have neuroplasticity on my side, I'm 23 years old, is to just learn as much and do as much as I can.
Yeah.
And every time there's a door that opens, I'm going through it. You know what I mean? Even if it may not be the most efficient thing for me to do right now, the best way to learn is just to try it. Right? In my opinion, obviously I'm 23. I don't have the experience in the world to tell you yeah, I'm just regurgitating what I've heard, right?
Oh, no, you're good. You're good.
um, but I I always joke with Conrado, who is also a sub two owners club member from your hometown Miami. Um, I always joke with him that nobody works harder than me, and that's both a good thing and a bad thing, right? Because I'm working harder than everybody I know, or at least I'm telling myself I'm working harder than everybody I know, so that it becomes a reality. But also, maybe I'm not working as efficient as I should be, right? So
Yeah.
maybe I need to be able to work hard or work more efficient on top of my hard work to make it more productive. And that's still what I'm trying to find, like my lane is what I'm most efficient in, so
Mm.
I can do it at the most productive in the most productive manner.
Yeah. Thanks for your honesty there, because
Yeah.
the listeners eavesdropping in this conversation here, they not everyone knows their superpower, their zone of genius,
Yeah.
and I think you highlighted something that's well needed, and that is you can figure that out doing many things,
Yeah. For sure.
and it's actually okay if you jump into this and you're calling leads, you're negotiating contracts, you're writing the numbers, you're talking to tenants. Like it's okay if you're doing all the things and you find out what you want to keep control of and what you want to delegate. That's totally awesome. So let's dive into your dynamic with your dad. You said in the last episode you and him joined Owners Club this year. He's actually still working his W-2. Your
Mm-hmm.
goal and his is for him to retire by April of 27. And you actually are going to be done serving in 27. And
Right.
so it sounds like the both of you will, although you being National Guard, you got more time than other people who serve, but
Yeah.
you at least won't be going out once a month on weekends and summers,
Right.
yada
There
yada.
will still be times for sure.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah. There
So,
will still be times that I have to go out and work, but so I just want to make sure that we have that correct. My dad is not in Owners Club right now. I'm in Owners Club,
oh,
right?
okay,
So we with the intention to join both of us to join our Owners Club, but it made more sense financially because he
I
can't
see.
go to those retreats and do all the
I
networking
see.
that I may be able to. It made more sense for just me to join um, and be able to. Right. The reason we want to retire him this time next year is so that at next squad up, it would
Got,
make sense for him to join Owners Club.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, because he literally can't take the weeks off to be at
Right.
immersion
Right.
events, and I mean,
It's
that's
like
one
the
of the things.
biggest thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
to
Okay.
be on those Zoom calls, be on the immersion at the immersion events, meeting people, work, being able to take action on the work
That
that
makes
you
sense.
find, the leads that you find at these events. And
That makes
though
sense.
he does have extra time in his day and he does do a lot of extra work on top of his W-2 already, it just didn't make sense financially for that to happen right now.
Okay.
Um,
Thanks for the
yeah.
clarity on that.
Yeah, yeah,
So
for sure.
it's just you and the owners club.
Hmm.
Highlight the dynamic still on what you and your dad do now and in business wise, and
Hmm.
what you and your dad are hoping you can do together when both of you have more time next year.
Um, so right now, I'm calling and texting him 25 times a day. every time, every time something happens, I'm following up with him about, keeping him informed, following up, texting him about deals that we have in the works. Hey, if you get a second, I'm doing this. Can you write up an LOI for this other deal that I don't have time to do really quick? And if he can do it, he can. We're
Got
trying to. I'm trying to teach him. I don't know the first thing about AI, but I know more than him. So I'm trying to teach him about AI. Trying to figure out, starting to use Molly as Molly's starting to come
Oh
out.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, I just got Claude, the
Very
$17 a
cool.
month or $20, whatever it is. I got Claude
Yep.
for both of us to use, so we're starting to get comfortable with that, and eventually we'd like to get a Mac Mini at, I think his name's Owen Meekum. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but Owen is our big AI expert in Owners Club. He was telling me that it would behoove me to buy a Mac Mini eventually to get an agent running on that, but I don't have the smarts to be able to make that happen right now.
Make
But
that
right now, the
connection.
dynamic is him and I just discussing deals while he's at work, and then when we have time together outside of his work, the goal would be to have him full time working, alongside me, where it's like, hey, these are our set hours. If we work
Mm,
outside of that, great, but we're gonna do full days of work, maybe 6 days a week, plus a little bit on Sundays. And eventually, we've also discussed the idea of getting one of those camper vans. I don't know if you've ever seen those, but I'm I have to drive to, I was just in Panama City from Orlando, which is like a 5 hour drive
mm-hmm.
to do inspections. Um, Got to drive all the way up there and stay a couple nights there. So it'd be nice for us to. What we'd like to do is get a camper van and switch. All
Mm-hmm.
right, I'm gonna go and visit a property, and then we're gonna, I'll trade it off, and he's gonna go and visit a property, and we'll
I
trade the
see.
van off, and kind of have a
Nice.
home base that we can come back to and do a lot of work out of. But that's
Okay,
the
so you
goal.
got some vision.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned this Panama deal you're doing. Hi, talk to us about this is a nitty. You don't have to get too much into the nitty gritty, but talk to us about how you found the lead, how you nurtured the lead, how you made the lead turn into an opportunity, how you negotiated it to make the opportunity into a deal, and then how you're financing this deal.
Okay, so it's not closed yet, so I don't want to get super in depth on it,
Yeah,
but
for sure, for
I'll,
sure.
I'll shout out some of the major players. At the Creative Nation tour in Tampa, I met
Oh.
Cameron Gallman for the first time. And he's a prior service Marine. I'm in the Army currently, so we kind of had a little connection there. Talked about that. He said, "Hey, I just got this deal or this lead. It was definitely a lead at the time. I just got this lead from a bird dog who is also in the sub two community, who I believe is from California actually. So he was
Mm.
calling all the way over to Florida looking for people to help him close deals, and
Yeah.
so he found this lead over in Panama City from California in the sub 2 community, brought it to somebody in the sub 2 community who brought it to somebody in the sub 2 community. So it was a nice little like
Nice.
family gathering, if you will. But Cameron brought me this opportunity when it was still a lead. He was attempting to wholesale it. Him and I, for the last, it's probably going on 6 months now, negotiated this. Um, the
Wow.
seller has ALS and wanted to leave his kids with a investment fund rather than
Mm,
properties.
mm.
It's just the seller's choice. So we wanted to help him out, and we know he has medical conditions, so we wanted to move as quickly as we can, but also has to be a deal. He has to be happy. We have to be happy. So over the last couple of months, we've negotiated. We got to a point where we could sign a contract. Now we're doing our due diligence. So that's why I was up there doing inspections, checking on the rent roll, getting all the lease agreements, getting insurance quotes. We're still in the process of doing that. And actually, after we get off this podcast right here, I have a call with Cameron about that.
Nice.
And then tomorrow I have a call with some potential investors to do the financing. I think I have somebody who's going to do the whole. We're looking for. It's about a $4 million deal. We
Woo.
need, yeah, pretty good one. We need about 500 to close, and because of the structure of the deal, would either have to be a second position lien, which obviously most people aren't favorable towards,
Yeah.
or we're open to equity investors.
Yeah.
So hopefully by the time this podcast drops, we
It
have already
happens.
closed. But we do have a fractional open for that currently, and unless this person that we're going to talk to does the full 500, then in which case, don't even worry about it. We'll roll that fractional to the next deal. But
Wow.
regardless, yeah. So we're hopping on a call after this to talk about that and hopefully get it closed up, and we can do a follow-up podcast where I tell everybody about the deal.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
at 23, how do you feel? One, raising $500,000, and then two, buying a $4 million asset.
Um, I don't. Hmm. I don't feel like I give myself enough credit for the things that I've accomplished in life because I feel like I was supposed to accomplish them anyways, or more. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it, every once in a while, I'll get like a moment of clarity where like, you're doing pretty good, dude. But also, there's times where I'm like, watching. I don't know if you know Iman Gaji. Um,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right. You know ball. I should know this. So yeah, I'll be watching like an Iman video, and he's 2 years older than me, I think, rolling around in his G wagon with
Yeah.
or his Maybach with
Yeah.
$600 sunglasses on, and I'm like, man, what am I doing with my life? um,
Man,
so yeah, I try to give myself credit, but also at the same time, like I'm still living in my parents' house, like in my dad's house. You know what I mean?
I mean
So
that's a strategic move, though, right? It's
yeah, no, you're totally right. You're totally right. But I gotta tell myself this is like the argument I have with myself. On one
yeah,
shoulder I'm like, you loser, and on the other shoulder I'm like, dude, you're doing awesome.
yeah, yeah. I see, I
Yeah,
see. And if yeah, yeah, be careful with comparison. I just say that. Be careful
absolutely.
with
Yeah,
comparison.
you're right.
The it's it's a stealer of joy. It's a stealer of joy. I'm
Yes, for
28,
sure.
so I'm only 5 years older than you. When you were when you were graduating high school during COVID, I was graduating college with my
Okay.
bachelor's. And so now just yesterday, just this past week, I was telling my wife that it's crazy that we're here doing this. Like left my W-2, which is high school teaching. I'm
Congratulations.
associate pastor. Thank you. Associate pastor. So we not making buku bucks. So I got
Oh
into
man,
real estate to provide.
did Pace stand you up at squat up? Was that
No,
you?
not oh yeah,
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 and you're like, yeah, I was just giving him a video to watch, and I was working on real estate in class. I
yeah.
didn't
That
even
was me.
realize that was you. Dang.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah, I forgot about that.
That's funny. If you need to bleep that out, you can. I don't know what you're.
No. That was me.
That
Yeah,
was
I
so
was
funny, dude. My dad and I were joking about that the rest of the day.
nice. Yeah, I had my students do assignments, and I was making rocks to go knock.
There
So
you go. Good stuff.
yeah, but I found, man, it's what if you do the volume like you talked about. If you put in the work, it actually is really unreasonable if you don't succeed.
Yeah.
Know? And the amount of LOIs you've sent out, I mean, working a deal 6 months, other people would have been like, I'm done. He didn't want to sign in a month, a week, let me just go on to other opportunities. But when you're dealing with $4 million on an asset that will appreciate, Florida is insane with how high the properties just keep going up. I'm in
Yeah.
Oklahoma City. COVID, we got a little bit of a bump, but Florida's like,
Yeah.
and it's I'm 6 months of work to hopefully close on a deal that will take care of you the rest of your life.
Hmm.
That's not a
Right.
bad trade.
Right.
So, I mean, awesome. Keep up the good work. My listeners here, they want to know, Cooper, what what was that fear that you kind of got over, or the hurdle, whatever it was, for you to just say like, I'm gonna do this? Because I hear $4 million. I hear 6 months of work. I mean, 6 months of work is okay. I got a deal in the contract last week that was 7 months of work. So I mean,
Right.
it's totally fine. But
Hmm.
I've not jumped into the $1 million asset range yet. What was that fear or that hurdle that you overcame to say, okay, like, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah. Um, the first couple of months of me being in real estate and me being like out of college, I felt extremely stagnant. And my dad likes to tell people that after like a month, I was like, it, my dad loves to tell this story. He goes like, yeah, after a month, he was like, didn't have any super hot leads, and he was like, what am I doing wrong? What am I, why can't I get any leads? And it was really because I just didn't know what I was doing, right?
Yeah.
But I was looking at all single family. Single family, we were looking to try and convert to co living. Um, the market had been and is kind of slow right now.
Yeah.
And with single family, there's so much competition, right?
Yeah.
Every couple wants to buy a home, and that's what everybody goes and looks on is Zillow and Realtor.com. Um, so as soon as I started saying, I think it was probably 4 months in, maybe a little less, I was like, why don't I just start looking at multifamily? Like, something might show up, right?
Nice. Nice.
So I started looking at things that were like almost $1 million. You had like, I think the first thing I looked at was quads. I was trying to find like 4 doors. And then I would find
Mm-hmm.
like a 5 door that looked interesting. And then I'd find like a 10 door. And then I
Right.
found like and I started throwing in LOIs to these things. And I was like, hey, the realtors on these properties actually know what they're talking about. They're not some kid that got fired and he's like, let me just become an agent.
Yeah.
So I was like, the people who own the properties have like some kind of financial, um, I don't know, just intelligence.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
can negotiate with them rather
Yeah.
than just like getting shot down from a low ball.
Yep. Yep.
The realtors know what they're doing more. The Sure, the number looks big on paper, but it's like what is the difference? Me doing 100,000 deal, some other person doing $1 million deal, some other person doing $100 million deal. Like Vic Keller talked on stage, and he's doing deals that are worth more than my life. I bet, and it's money, it's numbers on a paper. None of it's real. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And especially if you're going into something low down or zero down or
Yep, yep.
things like that. So I just had to get over that initial, like, this is more money than I've ever seen. Yeah, but none of it's real. You know what I mean? You're just,
Right.
as long as you did your math right, as long as you underwrote correctly, you're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Because you'll never actually have, like, it's not like you're gonna be holding wads of cash. We're not doing like money spreads with all
Yeah.
this cash, right? It's
Yeah.
it's all through banks, it's all through lenders, it's all through everything. So the seller gets what they want. You're cash flowing. You're making payments on seller finance, and as long as you underwrote properly, you're safe. So you just got to trust yourself. Take that jump.
Man, awesome. Love it. Underwriting, realizing that in a space where there's a bunch of sharks, you get into different waters. Because you're right. I didn't think about that. Like you're right. There's single family home buyers who want to move into properties that are in competition with you, and
Yeah.
there's us who want the deals. So, yeah, you're totally right. Cooper, you're closing on this in May. Let's do this. Why don't you text me when you close on it? And
Mm-hmm.
I'd love for you to come back. I mean, you don't even when if we do this, you don't have to disclose like addresses and stuff and all that. But we'd love to hear a month from now because we know there's gonna be hurdles. We know something's gonna come
Mm-hmm.
up. Title might say this. You found this in your due
Yeah.
diligence, so you gotta go back and take $600,000 off. Like I'm sure you'll
Right.
find something because if those real estate deals are anything like mine, something always I think I probably had in all the deals I've done, probably maybe a handful of deals where something didn't come up. And what I mean by that
Right.
is like title was clear, there wasn't another lien on the property nobody saw. Uh the homeowner is the one on title and doesn't have somebody they're actually married to that needs to sign like only a handful of times it's probably actually happened. So we'd love to hear how you've rolled with the punches at that point and what you do to close the deal. Or if you're like, you had to back out, I think that's a learning lesson there too, because people can get so fixated on this deal, that they ignore the red flags and they
Yeah.
close. And now they're underwater, they're scrambling. So shoot me a text when you've closed on it or whatever, and
All right.
we'd love to get you back on. But Cooper, how could let's land the plane this way. You got this big asset, this big deal you're doing, and my listeners are saying to themselves, "Man, I can't think of $4 million. What
Nonsense.
right? It's nonsense, and you're looking at your
That's
life.
nonsense.
That's nonsense. That's what you okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Dude, I'm 23 years old and none of it's real. Just do it.
just do it. None of it's real. Just do
Seriously.
it. For those listening, what would you say next year they want to be financially free like you? Next
Mhm.
year they want to be making 10,000. You want to make 100,000. They just want to make
Yeah.
10, 15. What would you tell them to start doing today? What rooms would you tell them to get in? What books would you tell them to read? Like, what would you tell them that if they just started to do this, they would actually get traction towards a 10K month goal?
Um, so I mean, you broke up a little bit there. So I think what you said was what is like the most reasonable next step for them to start doing to
Yes.
make progress towards their goal. So I would say do do what you think is right. You know what I mean? Like take the most reasonable next step that you can manufacture in your mind. If if that is promoting your personal brand or yourself, personal brand doesn't actually have to be a brand. Promote yourself on social media and market somehow, or maybe you're stressed after work and you know you're not getting enough steps in. Go for a walk. You know, health, your physical health correlates to your mental health, which correlates to your
Yes.
productivity. Get some sunlight in your eyes. Go for a a 5 minute walk, 10 minute walk. Drink water. It's the
Yeah.
little things. I said it in the last episode. Build the macro through the micro. If
Yeah.
you every day do one more thing a little bit better than the day before, and do just constantly progressing and getting a little bit better and doing what, if I'm sitting here and my options are, I could scroll on my phone or I could scroll on LoopNet or Crexy. What is reasonably going to make me more successful,
Yeah.
regardless if I make any real progress on either of those things. Crexy,
Yeah.
obviously, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
pull
Yeah.
up the laptop for an hour after work and just scroll on Crexy instead of hopping on Reels or TikTok,
Mm.
and the puzzle pieces will start falling in place.
I love that. Love that. Take action. Take the next reasonable step. Start making progress. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for being on this episode. Thanks for sharing and telling a little bit about your journey. Cooper, where can people get a hold of you if they want to continue the conversation?
My social medias are Gooper_C. That's GOOPER_C. And I've got my buy box linked on there. My real estate Instagram is Galvin Group _, I believe. Both of those are pretty consistently tied together, so you can find me at either one of those. If you want a bird dog for me, my buy box is linked there. If you want to JV with me, if you want to invest with me, I've got a fractional link on my YouTube that by the time this drops may be rolled into a new deal, or we'll have something else to invest in, whether it's still open or not. But we're always working on something, always a new deal. So keep in touch and keep up to date, and hopefully all the viewers and I can do deals together in the future.
Awesome. Let's do it. That's why we collab, right?
Yeah,
Man,
absolutely.
Cooper, thanks for being here. For those listening, take the next reasonable step. Like you said, an hour during lunch, a switch instead of scrolling, doing consumption on YouTube, Reels, or whatever it is. Why don't you consume something that will give you more knowledge that you can implement and make some progress? You'll be shocked if you just start doing those little things. In the year, you will be actually further towards financial freedom than you are if you do not. So take a hold of those principles, build a life worth living brick by brick, and we will see you guys again next time. Have a good one. All right. Cooper, thanks for being on.
I don't know if it's on my end or your end, but it looks like we're still rolling,
Yeah,
and
hold
two,
on.
you're breaking up quite a bit. You got, I don't know, maybe it's me with low bandwidth or something.